Hey everybody, Glenn Lamont here, Wallace Hartley Presents. Welcome to the weekend. Just wanted to check in with you all and give you some updates on what's going on right here in Vancouver, British Columbia on this beautiful Friday afternoon, sunny day. Can't beat this city on a sunny day. So COVID, currently, Canada, we have 1.32 million cases, 1.22 million recovered, 24,862 deaths. BC has 138,000 cases, and then a note here, plus 587. I'm not going to bother doing the math. And it has 130,000 recovered, pretty good, and we have 1,632 deaths. And the reason I start off with that is I want to talk just briefly about vaccines. And I know that we're, fast and furiously trying to get to all the populations here in British Columbia. But there's still people who are uncertain. And I attended the UBC Faculty of Medicine webinar on COVID-19 Q&A. And it was a panel of 6 doctors, epidemiologists, scientists, and they just kind of answered everything you could possibly think of. So first of all, I'm going to say to any of you, if you're a crazy anti-masker and you believe in that kind of crap, I'm not talking to you because you've already made up your mind. I am talking to the people, though, who are maybe still a little unsure. And granted, here's a big argument you always hear. Is, I still think, it's a little bit fishy. It's a little bit, they're always bouncing back and forth with what we should and should not be doing. And that makes me nervous. That makes me suspicious. Well, let me put you at ease. Now, here's me. This is just my point of view. If a pandemic like this occurred, and the government knew exactly what to do. The health authorities knew exactly what to do. But it was a new virus that nobody had ever heard of. And they were telling us, you need to do this, 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 and you'll be fine. I'd be suspicious. Because it's a brand new virus. Nobody knows anything about it. That'd be weird. That would lead me to believe that it was engineered in a lab somewhere and accidentally or on purpose got out. That's not the case. So the reason that they keep changing it up is because they keep learning, which is what you do with a new thing. You're continuously learning. I'm going to say to you all, please get vaccinated. That's my big takeaway from pages and pages and pages of notes that I took was get vaccinated because we need to get to 80%. And I'm going to tell you why. We've already seen the numbers dropping just in people who've had one dose. I've had one dose. I'm supposed to get my next one sooner than I was supposed to, but I still haven't heard. But even with one dose, you're still less susceptible to getting it or spreading it. And it answered a bunch of questions. It answered questions about schools, And by the way, on that note, children are eventually going to be on the list in the not too distant future for the vaccine because they've done enough trials that they can say it's safe. And I can't tell you specifics of down to what age, but they just said pediatrics, but that's kind of vague. So when you get the vaccine, once you've had both your doses or even one dose, it takes up to 2 weeks, right? And you can still contract it, you can still transmit it, but you're talking about much milder symptoms, much more like a cold or a flu, right? So you're talking about a reduction in transmissions in the household by 50%. Breastfeeding and pregnancy, fine. Also, here's the big one, the variants, right? So the B117 and the B1351, both all of them, Pfizer, Moderna, they all have almost the exact same efficacy rate as with the first strain that we had. So with the Pfizer, it varies by 1 to 2%. Same with Moderna. Same with A to Z. A to Z is a little bit lower. But either way, it works on the variants as well. What else did we have here? So, mix and match. They asked about that. If I got one vaccine, can I get a different one? You can. Your side effects might be a little weird. You might have different ones than the first time around. But you can, but that's probably not going to happen because when you register, if you've already had your first dose, they are going to give you the same dose that you had for your first one. Unless they're completely, out. But that's not going to happen either as far as we know. And let me see. There was lots of really, really cool stuff. And they talked about now, we're in our third wave. They talked about a fourth wave. Is that going to happen? And they said yes, but it's going to look more like clusters. And that is the approach they're going to take to eradicating, or not eradicating it, but dealing with it, is those clusters will have, certain protocols in place when it happens to prevent further outbreaks from that. But in general, I came away with a much more positive attitude towards the vaccine, because even I, was a little, because I used to be the same with the flu vaccine. I was like, I'm never doing that. And then I had kids, and that changed. So, and I realized that the flu vaccine is not always great, but again, they're just, trial and error there as well. But really, I hear a lot of complaints from folks, like an absolute ton of complaints. And the biggest complaint is, we can't, when are we going to get back to doing stuff? How long are we going to have to wear masks? When can we travel? That was the other thing that came out of that webinar, was travel is going to be the last on the list, just so you know, and for good reason. And I know you can argue that, well, they kept letting international flights in the entire time, blah, blah, whatever. But for you and me, who want to go visit our relatives, or we just want to go to Hawaii and do some surfing, you know what I'm saying? That'll be the last thing on the list. And so it should be, right? Because when you travel, I think you want to be confident that everybody's going to be safe. So in other words, like when you go on vacation, you certainly do not want to be under, restrictions wherever you happen to be. You want to go on vacation. So let's stick with the program, people. And, let's keep our games tight and lock it down until we get this thing to where it's doable. And then we can go on vacation. And we can eat, and we can drink, and we can have a great time, and we can, did I mention surfing? We can surf. And do it properly, do it right. So yeah, I just wanted to say, if you have any doubts, try your best to put them aside. Mostly, just think of others. Think of your family. Think of your kids. Think of your neighbors. Think about, well, I don't know. Think about people you actually like and do it for them if you're not going to do it for yourself. Because we all want to get back to normal. You know? As it is, our summer is going to be messed up, right? But it's going to be better than probably it was before vaccines came along. And we're doing our best. We're all doing our best. So, yeah. And then on a completely random note, I heard something on a podcast recently, and it was people arguing about Ben Affleck, who is not a person I think about very much. I've enjoyed some of his movies. I loved The Town. Great movie. And obviously, goes without saying, Good Will Hunting, because him and Matt Damon, what a team. And I guess he's a pretty great actor, but he's just kind of a sad, tragic guy now. And I guess the reason that I bring it up, not that I give a shit about Ben Affleck's personal life, but it pisses me off when I hear this guy moaning. This is a guy who just recently, I mean, he just got back together with J-Lo. Oh, boo-hoo, my life is so fucking sad. And then he just recently got caught, like, on one of those apps, dating apps, that would you swipe thingy, Tumblr, Tinder, Box, whatever it is, Twitter, no, Tinder. And he, with a video that was released of him berating this young woman who was in her 20s. And it was just I just heard a short clip. It was just, hey, why, it's me. Why did you swipe right or left or whatever it is that you do? So, and the only reason I bring this up is because Ben Affleck struggles with addiction issues. And he is a prime example of a privileged white male who is also a celebrity, who gets a pass on tons of shit. Now, there are many, 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 many of us addicts out there. And I have, I guess, something else in common with Ben, besides similar behavior when I was in my addiction. But alcohol is also my drug of choice. So when I see a guy like Ben pulling this shit and just like, oh, I'm going to get it together. And I really understand. Like, he talks a lot about, he understands what's wrong with him. Do you? Well, good. Now, like, get off your ass and do something about it. Here's the thing. Do the work, Ben Affleck. Do the work like all the rest of us had to do it. And then get on with our lives. I can never make up for the shit that I pulled when I was in my addiction. You know, all I can do is try and live the best life I can, and be the best person I can, and continue to do the right thing as often as I can, and be compassionate, and you know, do my job. And yeah, but it took a lot of work. It was hard work, and it was a real struggle. And I didn't have all these, you know, I wasn't a celebrity, certainly. And I did not have money. I didn't have means. I didn't have anything. At that time, I had my life was a train wreck of my own making. But you know what? I got my shit together, and I got honest, and I did something about it. And Ben Affleck, you should too, buddy. Not that you're going to be watching my channel, but if any of you who are watching this channel know him, just pass that along for me. That's all I got, folks. Have a great weekend. Stay safe, everybody. Get vaccinated, please. You guys are awesome. Glenn Lamont, Wallace Hartley Presents, podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Podbean. Peace out, everybody. Have a great weekend.